Right on Monday, March 2, President Joko Widodo confirmed that for the first time the COVID-19 case had entered Indonesia. Long before that, many circulated on the internet and social media that Indonesia was a country that immune to COVID-19. But at that time, right after President Joko Widodo announced the COVID-19 case in Indonesia for the first time, the myth that Indonesia was immune to COVID-19 was collapsed. And at that time also the government announcement to close all of the facilities that are at risk of increasing cases of COVID-19, which is include airports, terminals, tourist attraction, and as well as school and universities. So how do students learn when schools and universities are closed? Yep, that's right. As we have experienced today, we have been doing it for more than 1 year, starting in mid-March 2020. Yup, we carry out online learning, which we study not at school, but at our own home. A decision that is quite good, especially for the health of the students. But are they happy with this online learning? Do they not feel bored with studying not in school? Well, on 18 until 29 May 2020 and 5 until 8 June 2020, UNICEF conducted a survey. During the survey, UNICEF received more than 4,000 responses from students in 34 Indonesian different provinces. Through the U-Report channel consisting of SMS, WhatsApp, and Messenger. The survey results said that as many as 66% of the 60 million students from various levels of education in 34 provinces admitted that they were uncomfortable studying at home during this COVID-19 pandemic. Of this, 87% of students want to return to school immediately. So yeah, we can assume that students wanted to go to school for doing offline learning. But until now, the situation of COVID is still there, and online learning should be continuous. Even though online learning feels heavy, it makes us lazier and so on, but learning is important, right? So, whatever the challenge is, we still have to learn, and there are some tips that can be done to support the effectiveness of learning in this pandemic era. So with the rapid development of technology, of course, looking for reference and additional material on the internet is something we must do. With the limited time for online learning, this must be done for every student. Looking for reference material on the internet is the basic main tips that can be done while learning in this pandemic era. Because some studying the material that has been given is not enough to cover the shortcoming in learning in this era. So, looking for reference on the internet is the best way to improve it. There are so many websites that can be visited that provide materials about the materials that you want to study. So, by using this first tip, we can have a fairly broad knowledge and understanding of the subjects. The next tip is try to consult with your friends or even with your teacher. You can ask them if you have some materials that you don't understand well. You will get a feedback from them. You can also do the opposite too. I mean, you can also give feedback to your friend. This is a symbiosis of mutualism. And this is very good to do in this online learning. This can also maintain communication with friends, even though only through online, but at least communication with friends doesn't make us bored quickly. So don't forget to ask of your friends if you have some materials don't understand well, because communication is the main key to knowing everything, and who embarrassed to ask questions, then they will get lost on the road. The last tip is, we'll make ourselves happier in the midst of this online learning situation. So what is that? So the last tip is rewarding yourself. This pandemic era also for us to learn more independently. Sometimes we really want to spend a lot of time having fun. But as students, of course, we also have to learn. And sometimes this makes us feel that we don't have much time to relax and enjoy our life. And in my experience, that the homework given in online learning are much more than offline learning. Then the key is, after we are given homework, as soon as possible we must do it immediately so that the homework does not accumulate a lot and also overwhelms our free times. However, sometimes we seem to lack the motivation not to do it right away. We feel like we say, later, I will do it later. And yeah, with this self-rewarding motivation, this can provide motivation not to delay our homework. So the steps are perfect to apply, especially in this pandemic era. So after finishing learning and make so after finishing learning, we can give gifts to ourselves, such as giving additional hours to watch our favorite movies, rest, eat favorite foods, and so on before we starting to learn another materials. Maybe some of us have tried the tips earlier and maybe it's still lacking, but at least it's better than doing nothing. So don't give up on learning, although online learning feels different from usual. Mahatma Gandhi once said, life as if you are going to die tomorrow and study as if you will live forever. So hopefully this pandemic will end soon and we can study again offline in school and university. Thank you very much for listening my speech.